So, good evening again. This is my second try, I admit, because I had some internet connection troubles. So, in case you're watching live, welcome back. In case you're watching this as the second part of our live events, then welcome to Austria here, and I hope that everything will go fine. Now, I think we did not miss too much. We have Kantan now in the poll. Formerly it was Zemixna Chagrognan. And well, it's very close. It is very close. Let's have a look at the gaps. Have a look. The top three are within a tenth. So Spielberg is a very tiny track, short track, so the gaps are not that big. And Peter Simpson is back in the pole. Zemo, our pole king, back in the provisional pole position. 4.5 minutes left on the short track. That should be enough time for him to return to his pit crew and have another shot in case he wants. So yeah, I need to try to figure things out and get some stuff sorted that we usually should have seen in the past 15 minutes. Peter Simpson in the pole ahead of Karantan, and then it is Jack Rocknan and Dominic Walsh. Fifth goes to Grimo. There is no one in the top 10 right now who has run his hot lap on mediums. Let's have a short look and let's confirm this. Yep, no one on mediums, and Austria is not one of the tracks where this can be a big advantage, where you are almost mediums if you want to be successful, like it is on tracks like in China, like it is, and in Barcelona. This is a track where you can have a one-stop race starting on softs, soft to medium, in case soft to hard. All that is possible on a one-stop. So, and now we are heading towards crunch time. So the first of the top drivers on his final shot already is Jack Rognian, at least on the outlap to his final shot. And behind there is Leonard Cam. Let's have a short look at him. He is already on his hot lap. I still forgot to enable the lap data, so now let's see how good his final hot lap was. Oh, not so good, not so good. Had to exceed a track there in the last turn. At least it gives him the edge over Blake Gary. Leonard Cam, Stuart McDonald is finished maximally in 8th position. Now on a hot lap, Ricky Kuao, Lawson and Caruso, the Rockstar, are finished too in 13 and 14. Mercyman Martin Ward in last position on a hot lap, but we have to focus, of course, on our top drivers. This is one of them, Jagger Ognian in 3rd. 1.5 tenths now behind Peter Simpson. He was on the pole at least a few minutes long. Let's see if he can attack. Ryan Price got himself a grid penalty, +5. I wasn't sure if I saw it right, but I definitely saw him impeding him, not freeing the racing line. Ooh, and Caruso. Caruso has retired in the pit lane. For a short moment I thought he might have crashed. Now The look at Rognan first. Where will the time stop for him? He cannot improve. Rognan finished in third. Dick Kuao in fourth. Finished. This is Kantan on a hard lap. No improvements. What does Peter Simpson do just behind him? Slight improve for our overall leader, Peter Simpson. So there is another one on a hot lap. That's Dominic Walsh, who is still our reigning champion. And where is his brother, Thomas Walsh? Thomas Walsh, he has just started his hot lap. He needs to improve still by a lot. He is the only real competitor against Peter Simpson left. But he will not compete against him if he starts only in P8. But first it is Kantan who's finishing his hot lap and 4,000 behind Peter Simpson, and then Simpson improving his time by half a tenth. Still in the pole, of course. Dominic Walsh, the next one, up into fourth over Ricky Kuao. Grimo Goodman, I think before him Thomas Walsh, improving but not by a lot, so this could turn into a problem for the older Walsh brother. And in the end, he has crashed in the end. No improvement for Thomas Walsh, and likewise it is, I think, for Grimo, but he is and stays fifth. So Thomas Walsh, that could inflict a lot of problems to him. First, congratulations to, once again, our pole king here in MRS, Peter Simpson. Here is the final result of our starting grid of our qualifying. Simpson on the pole, then Kantan completes the front row in third, Jag Rognan, Dominic Walsh fourth, fifth, strong quali for Grimo Goodman. Sixth is Ricky Kuao in seventh, Ryan Price by the +5 penalty. Eighth, Thomas Walsh. Ninth, Leonard Cam. 10th, Blake Gary. 11, Andrew Mott. 12, Matt Snead. 13, David Lawson. 14th, Mike Taylor. 15, Rockstar Caruso. 16, Rockstar Caruso. 15 is Martin Ward, and no time set for Nevis Ekic, who crashed very early. So, we are late in the season. I mentioned it already in our first try of going online. And it looks a bit dark here. It looks dark, but still dry. I don't think this is a rainy race, at least not to the start. Let's see how that evolves. Yeah, we are late in the season. After this race, there's only 4 left, and so Peter Simpson is leading with 260 points. 17 points behind is Thomas Walsh. He is the only one who is still in striking distance, the only one who could get dangerous to Peter Simpson. But it is, of course, a big problem that Thomas Walsh is now starting in 7th. 6 drivers between him and his main rival for the championship. The reigning champion from season 1 is his younger brother Dominic Walsh, so there's always a Walsh involved. But this year, a second season, it might be on the bitter end for the Walshes. Here is lap 0, our installation lap. And the top 9 start on their quali soft tire. From P10 onwards, we see free tire option, and everyone has opted to start on mediums. That is interesting. It is interesting because of the fact I told you already that on this track you can have a one-stop race if you start on softs, not like Barcelona, not like Le Castellet. But okay, let's see how that evolves. Plus the weather, this is a big question mark here right now. Let's see how that will evolve. Yeah, in my home region, we do have a lot of storms and thunderstrucks lately. So maybe this has caused my former internet connection trouble, but I think this is sorted out now. At least it looks rather stable here right now for me. Spielberg here, the Red Bull Ring in Austria, is more or less my home Grand Prix. I am from Bavaria in southern Germany, and we Bavarians consider us actually more linked, more closer to Austrian culture than German. So this is more or less indirectly my home Grand Prix since Hockenheim left the racing calendar. And all of our drivers, I think, have now found their each starting box. And the 5 red lights. And then the MAS Austrian Grand Prix. Here we go, go, go. Lights out in Spielberg. Good start from the top 3 behind the other Williams. That was Blake Gary, had to run through the dirt a bit. In the background, we see some yellow. Oh, and I think some Haas hit the barrier there. That was Matt Snead. Matt Snead out after just one turn. And we have a safety car. Safety car due to the crash of Matt Snead. I saw some debris flying off somewhere, but beside that, I think it was a more or less okay start. There is some front wing damage, I think, to the Williams of Blake Gary on the right hand side. That is likely not to be part of the Matt Snead crash, because that would have been to his left hand side. But maybe he pushed someone into Matt Snead, I don't know, I sadly did not really see it. I can have look in the background chat. Matt Snead already posted. He is very, let's say, angry. I can understand. It's always sad and a bit stupid if you want to have a good racing evening and you are out already in turn 1. And now Blake Gary into the pits. Fresh nose, fresh, what is it? I think mediums. Yes, fresh medium tire. We see 4 drivers pitting: Mike Taylor, Andrew Mond, and Ryan Price. So pick one of them. One of those 4 was somehow involved in the Matt Snead crash. And so the table is confused like always. I heard this is called the lobby glitch. For me as a broadcaster, I am really angry on Codemasters that the whole year, from day 1 until the last day, they were unable or unwilled to solve this glitch, this malfunction. And for me as a broadcaster, it is of course very, very important to somehow try and keep an overview of what's happening. And you cannot have an overview how drivers have started if in lap 1 and 2 this table is just running wild. But okay, the new game is just what is it, 2.5 weeks away, so everything will be better then. You just need to have a bit of optimism about that. And now, as we are in the real lap 3, the situation is correct. So as we have a moment, let's analyze the starting phase a little bit. We see top 3 did not change. Then Thomas Walsh, Thomas Walsh of course, He must battle ahead, and he did, +3 from the start. And those 3 he overtook were right, those -1s behind him. Dominic Walsh, his brother, Grimo Goodman, and Ricky Kuau. And then we see the big winners from the start. Lawson, Martin Ward, Nebis Ikic, and Rockstar Caruso. +4, 5, 6. And the 4 backmakers are right, exactly those 4 who had this early pit stop needed. Blake Gary, Andrew Mount, Ryan Price, and Mike Taylor. So there was no penalty handed out, so I really have no clue why or what happened on this opening lap crash. Matt Snead is talking about some Red Bull taking him out. I'm not sure if there was a Red Bull anywhere in his direction. Anyway, we are back to racing. Green flag. Now here in lap 4, and Peter Simpson is leading the way, trying to run away, trying to get out of the 1 second DRS window now from Kantan. We will have to wait 2 more laps, of course, until the DRS will be activated. The top 3, Renault, Williams, Ferrari, coming smoothly through turn 1, 2, 3. And he is in 5th, Dominic Walsh, already 1.5 seconds away from his brother. So he, I don't know, did not have quite a good restart. Can't explain otherwise. So this is a view from Thomas Walsh, who needs to get ahead, who needs to make up ground, who needs to battle and challenge Simo Simpson in order to stay in the championship run. And there is the rain. There are some raindrops on the halo of Thomas Walsh. So just as I already saw it, just as I mentioned in the installation lab, it looks rather dark, and here is the rain. That is a bit sad. That is sad because Austria features so many DRS zones, 4.5 kilometers of length of track, and on those 4 kilometers we have 3 DRS zones. And those 3 DRS zones caused multiple racing action in more or less every stream that I had, every race that I was honored to broadcast from Austria, and this racing action we might lose out now. But maybe there is some other thing to have some racing action with, and this is an attack from Kantan into turn 1. Oh, fair maneuver from both the drivers, while we have yellow in sector 3. Right, these 2 boys, Caruso and Price. And we have a safety car. Oui, safety car. Oh, and Caruso is lacking a front wing. Oi. Damage to Price too. And I suppose that the game has called out Bernd Meider in the safety car because of this incident. So the big question now, what to do? It is still a lot too dry to opt for inters, but we might have pit stops for inters later in the race, but I think no one dares to do so now. Oh, there are 2 drivers in, Dominic Walsh, Leonard Kemp. 3 now, Ikic. And there will be 2 more with Price and Caruso. Price and Caruso, those 2 boys were teammates once. And now they have run into each other in turn 10. So we have 1, 2, 3 drivers now who have opted for Inters. Those, yeah, Rocks are now 2, so it's 4. And especially Caruso and Price, who were in dire need of a pit stop because of front wing damage. They, of course, had to stop for Inters. The others, Leonard Cam and Ikic, whew. Let's see if that was a good idea. Because right now, it does not really look like as if the rain would pick up. And as long as we are on the safety car, it doesn't make a big mistake. But when we are back to green after the restart, those 4 drivers on Inters will lose loads of time compared to the others. And so those 4 drivers will now be praying for rain dance in their living room. Because if it should start raining right now, if it should start pouring just right now, those 4 would be the leaders now. Aha, and we have had another pit stop. That was from Dominic Walsh. He's now in 12th. And have a look, he opted for softs. Dominic Walsh, while everyone who came in took Inters, our Season 1 champion opted for softs. Okay. Right now, let's have a look. Yeah, here's the view from the cockpit of Peter Simpson. Right now, it is still a lot to dry for Inters. So, the slick runner should still be the faster drivers. While we are watching Peter Simpson pacing the field here in Sector 3. Yeah, what will the Interrunners do now? What will they do? Will they wait or turn back in and get some slicks and then later turn to Inters again? We will see. For the moment, this is the restart, led again by Peter Simpson. And Mike Taylor into the pits now, very late. I mean late in case of right at the end of a safety car phase. And he opted for Inters, so it looks like as if Inter tire should be the better on long term, but I still think that it's too early. Let's have a look what's going on for the moment. So this is very tricky now, of course, when to change, and until you change, you have to maintain your focus, and the driving will get more and more difficult lap by lap. His rear almost caught him out here, Jack Rocknan. While Kantan, here we are with him, is still chasing Simpson. 1/4, the back marker quarter is now running on Inters, and have a look, Leonard Cam is 6.5 seconds already away from Mercyman, the next one, who is still on slicks. So this is proof that Inters are a lot too slow here right now. I'm trying to provide some neutral information for all those drivers who are watching and listening to me. I know that MRS always has a few drivers who are, who have me on their ear, so to speak. And I do my best to deliver some neutral information. I have no weather forecast, of course. I can just speak out and tell what is going on the track. And Kantan is still sticking very close to Simpson. And in third, it looks like Rognan is inching closer again. So Peter Simpson is maybe, either he is very cautiously or he's just not so fast. And Thomas Walsh now attacking Rognan after Rognan had a little bit of slip in turn 10, and Thomas Walsh has pushed through up into P3. And ahead, the gap is increasing. Now the gap is increasing between Kantan and Peter Simpson, so maybe he just needed a moment to adopt. And Blake Gary up into 5th. Blake Gary, our youngest driver, who tells us he is a good rain driver, and that is definitely true. And what is going on here? Battle for third or fourth. Rognan ahead of Walsh again, and that put him into the hands of Blake Gary. No, not for the moment. So let's have a look about this from the view of Blake Gary, or maybe from the looks of Mark Goodman in 6th, who has a good view ahead. So he's in the front row of this threesome battle for P3. DRS is still enabled, and this is very important because as long as DRS is enabled by the game, it is usually the slick tire that is the faster one. And Grimaud now under attack from Ricky Kuhau, and the Renault got through. Yellow in sector 2. A bit of attack maybe there from Grimaud onto the rear of Kuhau. Oof. Dominic Walsh had some troubles there. Dominic Walsh wanted to out-accelerate Grimaud and then ran into the rear of Grimaud. We just saw Grimaud almost losing his car on acceleration, and that was not his mistake. It was Dominic Walsh who was next, or rather into him. And now Dom Walsh needs a new nose. And behind, have a look, Mercyman to Leonard Camp, 12.5 seconds. So within just 3 laps, the Inter runners have lost 12.5 seconds of time on the stick runner. And that effect is so intense that Mike Taylor in last position has opted back to softs. So Mike Taylor, who was the last one to opt for Inters, is now back on slicks, and Dominic Walsh, who has intense front wing damage, did not stop. My goodness, Dominic Walsh did not stop. I can only explain that he is unsure what to do tire wise, and so he opted to just pull it through somehow, even though he has some intense front downforce loss. He's now right behind Andrew Mont. And on our front positions, let's jump back to them. Something happened because Thomas Walsh is down to 5th anymore. Blake Gary is up in 4th. Jack Rognan still 3rd, but is 5 seconds behind Kantan. So something had to happen there. Cannot explain it otherwise. Why or how this gap is so huge from one lap to the other. And now here we see Blake Gary in the slipstream in the rear of Rognan. DRS is still activated. You can see the Williams is split. Ooh. Gary on the inside. Rognan left the door open, but still it did not work. We have yellow in sector 3. Already vanished, so not the biggest issue. Uh-oh, Price and Nevis Ikic into the pits, and they are opting back. The next drivers who opt back from Inters to Slicks. Have a look, and that is Kantan just by now. Kantan, who was 5 seconds up on Rocknan, and all of a sudden he is less than a second away. So there was an incident. Rocknan into the pits. Oh, I am interested what he will do now. Yellow in sector 3. Rocknan, 5 seconds penalty, speeding in the pit lane. Rocknan, his soft's getting old. He needs new tires and he needs Inters. What in all hell is going on here? What a crazy race it is. I mentioned, or I said, without rain we do not have the DRS racing action, and we have some crazy tire situation action now, because some drivers opted for Inters way too early and opted back to slick tire, and now out of any needs, just all of a sudden Rocknan is on to Inters. Whew. Hey, Peter Woodland, welcome in the stream, in the chat box. Have a nice evening, Pete. Thanks for joining. Thanks for saying hi. And yeah, here we are. More pit stops incoming. Lawson in. Lawson opted back to slicks. Rocknan from slick to Inters, and right in the same lap, Lawson goes from Inter to slick. What is going on here? We've seen a pit stop from Peter Simpson. And Peter Simpson, this looks like a scheduled stop. Simpson is from soft to medium, so this is a one-stop strategy. I suppose he can run to the end on this set of mediums. And right behind him is a Red Bull. Lawson lapped on softs. Lawson already lapped, not even halfway through the race. Even though we had 2 safety car phases, only because of multiple pit stops. Yeah, thanks, Pete. I know, sadly, our leagues collide time-wise, so otherwise I think we both mutually would watch each other a lot more. So I'm still trying to figure out what is the right thing to do here. I think it is, DRS is still enabled, I think. And have a look, Rocknan is coming back to the pits. Rocknan is back to the pits. From Inters now to slick tire. 5 seconds penalty, and then Inters off. And mediums on. Aye. Yeah, this is... I think he gambled a bit. I think Rocknan gambled a bit with opting for Inters. That could have paid off dividends, but yeah. We all just saw that it did not. Negative dividends. I don't know how the English word for negative dividends is. Anyway, Ikic now, Nevis Ikic in 14th, the only one who is still running on Inters, and I doubt that he will do that very long from now onwards. Blake Gary into the pits. Behind him, Grimo Goodman is so too. Gary from soft to medium. Yes, it is. Red to yellow. Grimo the same. Ricky Kuao. Soft to medium plus a new nose for number 13. Andrew Mann, the second Alpha Tauri. Busy lap for the Alpha Tauri pit crew. Needs a new nose. Soft to mediums. And we still see Thomas Walsh now leading the race. Thomas Walsh and Martin Ward in 6th, the only drivers who are still running on their starting tire. So those two did not gamble for anything, did not try the luck on whatever. And especially Martin Ward, who is running on mediums, who still can have a few more laps on the mediums, could have a big advantage, because in case it should start raining now and everyone needs inters, he would be the big winner, because he did not have multiple stops yet. Let's have a short look. Tom Walsh now into the pits in 3rd. Soft, too soft. Uh-oh. Soft, too soft for Thomas Walsh. I remember our race in Russia, in Sochi, where he stopped soft, too soft too, and I was really wondering what in all hell is he doing. But he knew, he had the weather forecast, he knew that there was rain incoming, and just for the last 5 laps or so, he opted for inters, and with that fulfilled the tire rule and won the race on it. So let's see if he will try to repeat this Sochi race here tonight in Spielberg. Yeah, Pete, about your last message, it is uncertain what is expected, because we had seen rain, or drizzle, let's call it drizzle, from lap 5 onward or so. We are now in lap 19, so you can imagine if it starts drizzling in lap 5, then our drivers expect rain incoming and not a drizzle till the end of the day. So that gave us tons of pit stops already, and here is the fight for Tom Walsh against Mark Goodman. This works rather easily, as DRS is still enabled, and Tom Walsh on his fresh softs just pushed over him rather easily back into 4th. Dominic Walsh leading. Let's have a short look about the pit stops amount, as there are more pit stops now. Khan and Martin Ward. Martin Ward. He should have tried to make it a little bit longer. DRS is disabled. DRS disabled. So this is usually the moment to start thinking about inters. And Martin Ward did so. Mercy man on inters. Martin Ward, P10, P9 now. He could be the big winner of all this tire pit stop gamble. Have a look at the pit stops. Just 1 stop for Tom Walsh, Peter Simpson. And just 1 stop for Mercy Man, who is already on the right tire. While we see already up to 3 and 4 pit stops in the backmakers section. And now we will see a lot of pit stops. Dominic Walsh in, Peter Simpson in, Blake Gary in. All those, almost every one of them, already had a set of inters and opted back to slicks. So the only one who really made it completely correct was just Mercy Man, who is in 9th. He will be in a good position. Let's see how far he can get ahead. Grimo with internet connection issues. I know how he feels now. And Dominic Walsh, my goodness. Dominic Walsh just had a pit stop for mediums. Oh my. When everyone has opted to go on inters, he went for mediums. Oh my. This might ruin his entire race. And now almost everyone is on inters, so it now looks like as if it would be finally the right time to move on to the green tire. But not for Dominic Walsh. Not for both the Walshes, Walsh 1, Walsh 2. A Walsh 1 and 2. But sooner or later they will have to stop, I suppose. And have a look, Peter Simpson is there. This was the battle for the championship in Season 1. And in Season 2, this is not a valid battle. Dominic Walsh is buried somewhere around P5 in our overall standings, while Peter Simpson is just running away with the championship, at least running away from him. The only one who is still in a position to challenge Simo is only Thomas Walsh ahead in P1, the older brother of Dominic Walsh. But right now it does not look so good for Tom Walsh, because the Intertire is definitely the faster one. Simo has already chewed off a whole second of gap just in this one lap, and Tom Walsh is still continuing on his softs. My goodness. Now I'm really not sure what Tom Walsh is waiting for. He cannot finish the race on this because he needs one different tire compound, and he has gone from soft to soft, so Tom Walsh cannot go through on this set. I am really not sure what he's waiting for. And Martin Ward, Mr. Mercyman, is still stuck in P10. I expected a lot more from his situation. I expected he could or should have gone upwards a bunch of places. But eventually the gaps were just too big for him. Oh, and Mark Goodman has dropped out. Grimo is in need of an invitation. He has probably mentioned it in... oh yeah, he messaged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in our overall in our background chat. I will try. I'm not sure if I can get it done. Not sure if I am friends with Grimo. I will be back with you in a moment. So I hope it worked. And we are right back when Nebis Ikic has crashed his car. There he stands. Ooh. Where is he? Where is he? Let's see. No, I cannot show it to you again. The next driver is just too far away. We have a safety car. Safety car. Third safety car in the race. And now Tom Walsh stops. Of course he does now. He's not the only one. Blake Gary is in too. Thomas Walsh has waited for this moment. Actually, it was a really big achievement from him, staying out so long, staying out on slick tires so long here. And lucky boy, he is still in second. I just had to invite Grimo once again. Hope it worked this time. During a safety car phase, it's always a bit easier to do so. So welcome back, Mark Goodman. Yeah, so let's sort things out. We see Peter Simpson in the lead. He was crawling up towards Thomas Walsh, and he will be angry he will be angry about this safety car phase because he was getting closer. He was about to get into striking distance of Thomas Walsh. Thomas Walsh, who was still in need of a pit stop, and as soon as Tom Walsh would have done his pit stop, Thomas Walsh would have been a lot further down the field. And now, with the safety car phase, plus the fact that Blake Gary stopped too in third, Tom Walsh just stayed in second. So just a position swap, and he is close now. So with the safety car ending approximately or probably next lap, we will still see 9 or 10 laps of racing action, where we then see the top two battling it out. The championship rivals, Simpson versus Thomas Walsh, will battle it out in the end then. And that is right what we want to see, isn't it? The two main rivals fighting for the lead in the race and the lead in the overall standings, of course. And in P3, very good race from our youngest driver, Blake Gary. I mentioned it earlier, he considers himself as a good rain driver, and this is already the second or third occasion in this season where he really shows that to us. And there we see one Haas, can only be Caruso, who is trapped here behind the leader. This is another bug of this game. It's not a bug, it's actually just a malfunction, where I hope that the new game will improve it, because in the real world, the lap drivers can unlap themselves with overtaking the safety car, but in the game, he is not trapped there. He is... Oh, and Lawson has retired. David Lawson is out, our host. Came back to the pits and stepped out of his car. Where was I? Yeah, at Caruso. Because he is now behind Simpson, or in between the top-notch drivers. And he is a bit of a disturbing factor there, actually, for the battle. Anyway, he will have blue flags now until everyone has lapped him again. So he is then lapped by everyone, and that is definitely, not such a good feeling. So safety car is being called back in at the end of this lap. So once again, Peter Simpson is pacing the field here in Sector 3. Getting some load into his intermediate tire. Not as important on the inters as it is on slicks. Still, I sincerely hope that Nico Caruso will get out of the way there and not interfere too much in this battle for P1 and 2, and Seymour almost lost his car, had to run through the dirt there to stay in the race, and now Caruso is getting out of the way. So Peter Simpson had a big lucky moment there, that he could stay running, could stay in the right direction, and did not lose so much of ground, as there was still this one lap car between Tom Walsh and Simpson. Oh no, and Thomas Walsh got a 5 seconds penalty for overtaking, rather lapping, Caruso there. And he has lost the position to Blake Gary, and now will lose one to the next Williams, maybe not. Still wheel to wheel. Now towards the infield battle lane for Kantan, actually. Oh, and the Racing Point lost the position to both the Williams. Oh yeah. Lucky moment for Simo, unlucky moment for Tom Walsh. And this is, yeah, just another, yeah. What did I say earlier? This malfunction that Caruso was trapped there. And this 5 seconds penalty, I am very sure, will be erased afterwards from our admins. Likewise to the 5 seconds Caruso got right now, but for him it's not as important as it is for Tom Walsh. I think that our admins will decide to erase this 5 seconds against Tom Walsh. At least I hope so, because it would be unfair if he is penalized for lapping backmaker. But for the moment he is under pressure and it does not look so good for Tom Walsh. Oh, and a crash in the background. This was Dominic Walsh in the wrong direction here. I saw it in the background that he was, tagged from behind and therefore lost the balance of his car. Did not see who else it was. Maybe we will see who else will need a pit stop in case there is some more damage, not only to his nose. Walsh, yes, he is pitting. Is there someone else? Does not look like here right now. Andrew Mond was too far away, couldn't be him. Yeah, and here we are back with Peter Simpson, who had a little bit of a heart attack moment when he almost lost his car right when he was restarting the pace after the safety car phase. But now, with 2.5 seconds almost, he's back to smooth sailing in the lead. Leading over, have a look, Blake Gary, our Rain King, Rain Prince, as he's still so young. And then, right behind him, his teammate, Kantan. So there's a potential double podium for the Williams. How long we didn't see that? And Thomas Walsh in 4th, only 4th. He will drop down further with his penalty probably. That, I repeat myself, hopefully will be deducted in the end. And 5th then Jack Rognan, who has a good pace, who had a good race, but did have issues, did have wrong decisions, I want to call it. Yeah, wrong decisions for Rognan, but his pace was good. By the way, in our overall standings, he is battling his teammate, Van de Brill, who was the top rookie of last year, is in 4th. Rognan is 5th, is 3rd. Jack Rognan is leading with 6 points over his teammate, so with P5, maybe even a bit more. He would make up at least 10 points on his teammate. That would be a rather big step forward. I am still waiting for the moment when the 2 Ferrari drivers are starting to battle each other. They have a really good team strategy, making Ferrari the #1 contender for the Constructors' Championship. But as I mentioned, I'm still waiting for the moment where they start going at or against each other, and like the Williamses are doing, have a look. Battle for 2nd, Kantan against his young sidekick Blake Gary. Yellow in Sector 1. I think Rockstar has spun Mirko Caruso, who opted for full wets. Caruso on monsoon tires. Did not do him so well, at least not yet. Rain has picked up, yes. Rain is more intense now, but I'm not sure if it is already monsoon weather, monsoon tire weather. Blake Gary is a little bit struggling there and lost the battle, at least for the moment, against his teammate. Gary in third. Kantan in second, who had a super huge start to this season. He came into the league entirely new and really ran away in the first 5 races. Was on the podium on every race in the first 4, 5, 6 races. Everyone thought, okay, he will be the champion in the end, and then he had some medium good results, plus he missed, I think, 2 races due to moving to another flat, and then he was out of the championship battle. And now today he is once again showing us that he does have a good pace, that he is a very fast driver, just sadly out of the championship competition. So we are in the final 3 laps already. Short track, so the laps tick down very fast. Peter Simpson 1.5 seconds away from Kantan. I'm not sure if Simpson had a bit of a lapse there, or if Kantan is just a faster driver in the rain. He is getting closer, 1.2 seconds. He is away from our leader. The 1 second window is not of importance now, of course, as the RS is disabled in the rain. So Kantan has 2 laps left, approximately 9 kilometers the distance. He still has time to get closer, and in case he should get close enough, he will not be DRS backed up, so he must find a way around him without DRS, without the drag reduction system. And for some reason I doubt that he can make it. He is closing up. It is visual that he is the faster one, but I'm not sure if the time or the amount of laps is still enough for him to get wheel to wheel with Simo and really attack him. So we are into our last lap, and one other thing is still very important, that is who else will be on the podium, because in third still Blake Gary dropped 2.5 seconds to his teammate already, and behind him is Tom Walsh, very close. There's another midfield battle. Price against Goodman, battle for 8th. This would go easily with DRS, without DRS, yeah. It is not easy. And Kantan had the laps. Kantan is over a second away from Simo. So this is the decision. This is the decision for the race win. I would like to suggest this battle here should be settled too. What's with these boys? 6/10 between Gary and Tom Walsh, so that looks rather safe now too, as long as no one is throwing it away, of course. Late 3 seconds penalty for Dominic Walsh, but in P12 this doesn't matter so much. Here's the view of the Renault, the view we had seen so often already this year, And once again, I can call it out. The race winner, Peter Simpson. Congratulations to the Renault. And almost even more important, a big congrats to Team Williams for a double podium. A Williams 2 and 3. How long we haven't seen that. Wow, really great result. And in the end, Thomas Walsh dropped down to 5th due to the, in my mind, undeserved 5 seconds penalty. I suppose that this will be reviewed by our admins/stewards. For the moment, Jack Rognian is 4th. Oh, and a good result in the end for Leonard Cam in P6. Leonard Cam in P6. And yeah, so for the moment we will finish the race on the shoulder of Peter Simpson. Driver of the day is Blake Gary. That sounds really reasonable. I have the honor to announce one driver of the day who will receive an extra point, and I was strongly thinking of him too. And here's the podium and the digital champagne for Renault and Williams. Yeah, Williams, Renault, both those combined have managed so many titles and podiums. And today, on this very evening, they were split up in 2 different teams, but still had a whole podium only for themselves. Here is the final result after penalties. Peter Simpson has won it ahead of the Williamses from Kantan and Blake Gary. In 4th, at least for the moment, Jack Rognian. 5th, Thomas Walsh. We will review his penalty. P6, Stuart McDonald. 7th is Ricky Kuao. P8, Ryan Price. 9th, Mark Goodman. P10, final point goes to Mike Taylor. 11th is Martin Ward. 12th, Dominic Walsh. P13, Andrew Mont. 14 and onwards have DNF'd. That is Mikko Caruso, David Lawson, Nevis Ikic, and Matt Snead already, sadly, in turn 1. So this has been our final broadcast, our final event in Austria on this game. For some reason, for somehow, I will miss it. I will miss F1 2020. At least in the offline version, it was definitely the best Formula 1 game I have ever played. Well, there is some room for improvement still. We will see how that will turn, how that will evolve in 3 weeks from now on. We have still 4 races left. We have still left next week. We will turn to Brazil, then Abu Dhabi, and then it's a bit of a question mark because the final 2 races, Silverstone and Singapore, they will be parallelly to the new game. I am not sure how our admins will decide on that. But for the moment, let's just say, let's meet again next Wednesday evening, 7:30 p.m. UK time, 8:30 p.m. Continental. The stream always goes online approximately 5 to 10 minutes earlier. I hope that I will be able to greet you then too, and you will be with us again. I'm Sepp Bauer, glad you were with us, and have a good evening. Have a nice upcoming weekend. Enjoy the Austrian real life Grand Prix, and stay safe in these times, and keep racing.